Would you like to learn how to make these easy, delicious dinner rolls? Stick around and I'll show you how. Today I'm going to show you how to make some homemade white yeast rolls. I also have a recipe for some whole wheat yeast rolls, and I'll do another video on those. But something that my mom was well known for growing up was her Sunday family dinners. And I appreciate it now more than I ever really did back then. But I know that people considered it an honor to have been invited to one of her Sunday dinners. We always had them after church. I think she really put a lot of effort into this because this was important for her. It was the one day a week that our family could sit down together and have a meal. And so she would always make homemade rolls for these Sunday meals. And usually, you know, I think she got up super early to start them, and they were absolutely delicious. She taught me how to make them. I have the recipe, and for whatever reason, I could never get it. They never turned out quite like hers. In fact, we used to tease her that she would purposely leave out an ingredient just so that ours didn't turn out as good as hers. She didn't. It was just, I don't know. I even went to her house one time and I was like, Mom, okay, I'm gonna literally just sit here and watch you step by step because I know what the ingredients are. I know how you do it, but I must be missing something. They just never turned out like hers. So over the years, I've continued to try to make hers still. They're good, but they're just not like hers. And so I can't tell you how many recipes I've tried over the years trying to mimic her white yeast rolls, and I finally found one. I don't know that it's exactly, but it is the closest to it. And I'll link the website or the account. I don't remember which social media platform I found it on, but I'll link it in my description to give this person credit because these are so good and they're so easy and they take way less time than my mom's yeast rolls. So let's get started. I am going to be using a mixer for this, but you don't have to. This can totally be done all by hand. This just makes it a little bit easier. Also, fun fact, this is my mom's mixer. She had two of them and I was lucky enough to get one of them. Also, I might want to mention that the first time I made this particular recipe, I was so excited when I bit into it because I was like, yes, this is the closest to it. And when my kids also tasted the rolls, they were like, oh my gosh, these taste like Nanny's. And that just made me feel so good. So I love this recipe and anybody can do it. So we're gonna start with 2.5 cups of warm water. And remember, when you're using yeast, you want your water warm, but it's kind of like a tepid temperature, the temperature that you would give to a baby in a baby bottle. So you can even test it that way on your wrist to make sure it's not hot, it's not cold, it's just kind of like barely warm, because if it's too hot, it'll kill the yeast and the yeast will not activate. So 2.5 cups of warm water. 2 tablespoons of active dry yeast. You need to make sure you're using instant. I think that that's the difference in this recipe. You don't have to wait as long for the rolls, excuse me, to rise. So it's 2 tablespoons and it's going right in. Just about out. Okay, the next thing that's going in, we're actually just adding the rest of the ingredients. And also I might mention, I will list all of the ingredients and the instructions in the comments, and I'll pin it so it stays at the top. I did have a viewer request that I put the recipes there, that it's easier to get them and just kind of follow along. So I will do that with this one. So we're gonna add 1/2 cup of sugar, 1 egg, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 stick of salted butter melted. And you do want to make sure after you melt it that you just let it cool just a little bit. And then we're gonna give that a stir. And then we're gonna add 7 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm hoping that I have 7 cups left in my container. If not, I do have some bread flour and I'm just gonna use that to make up the difference. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, I think I might have enough. 7. Now we're going to turn the mixer on. I'm gonna start it slow because obviously, well, actually, I guess I'll just give it a little stir, try to get it mixed in so the flour doesn't go flying everywhere. But we're gonna mix it up, and we wanna mix it until everything's like incorporated. And the dough is gonna be really sticky. So I'm just mixing it on low, and you're gonna mix it until everything is combined. And then you're gonna knead it just a few more minutes until it's smooth. And again, the dough might be sticky. You can see that it is. I'll stop it really quickly. Oops. I'm just going to kind of get everything off of here, scrape down the sides, and then I'm just gonna let it go for just a few more seconds. I do remember my mom saying that if you handle it too much and you knead it too much, that the rolls will not turn out as soft. So just let that go a few more seconds. Turn it up a little. It's all like grabbing on to the center. So I'm just gonna stop it there. I just drizzle just a little bit of olive oil, take a paper towel, and just kind of move it all around. So now I'm gonna scrape down all of this. Now I'm just going to put this dough into my bowl. And it is definitely sticky, and that's okay. I want to get as much of it as possible. And then I'm just going to put the lid on this, and I'm going to let it sit for 40 minutes. It may need to go a little bit longer, but what you're trying to do is you want this to rise until it's about double. So this is what it looks like. And I'm going to pop the lid on. And this lid is hard to get on, but I'll see you back in 40 minutes. It's been 40 minutes, and I can definitely see through the lid that it has doubled in size. Smells so good. So now I'm ready to punch it down, and then I'm gonna start shaping it into rolls. And what I've done is also, this is my mom's pan from when she made rolls. So I have so many things that remind me of my mother, and I'm so grateful for it. I buttered this pan, and all I did was just cut a stick of butter off, used a short little piece. It's cold, and I just rubbed it around until everything, all the surfaces, including the little sides, are covered with butter. Now I'm actually just going to leave this little piece of butter on a plate, and I'm gonna kind of rub my hands all over it and just leave it here to continue to be able to use it. This is what's gonna keep my hands from sticking to the dough. Oh, let me get my rings off, hang on. Wash my hands, buttered them up again, and ready to go. So I'm going to, basically, I'm just punching this down, kind of pulling it away from the edge of the bowl. I'm like getting the air out of it. It's kind of back where we started from. And now I'm just gonna start pinching off pieces, and I'm gonna start placing it on my pan. Okay. And what you wanna do is you're just gonna, I don't know, you just eyeball it. And I just pinch a piece and then just kind of push it up like that through my finger and my thumb so that it's kind of pinched on the bottom, and then put it on there. And I just keep doing that until I have filled the pan. And obviously, you know, just eyeballing it, it's not gonna be perfect, but when I'm all finished, if I see that there are some rolls that look substantially larger than the others, then I will just take some dough from one and put it, like, add it to another. If you wanted to be really precise about this, it's about, because I did figure it out at one point, but I just don't weigh it. But some people like to weigh it, and if that's the case, it's about, I think each roll weighs, if you wanted to do it equally, 55 grams. What's left of my dough, so I'm just gonna put that in half. got 2 more spots here. So again, these don't have to be perfect, and you don't want to overhandle them. Here they are. So now I'm just gonna cover these with a lightly floured dish towel, and they're gonna sit for 30 minutes until they've doubled again. It's been 30 minutes and they have definitely risen. They're not huge, but you can see that they have gotten bigger. So I don't want to let them rise too long. I think that results in a drier roll. I've preheated my oven to 350 and I'm going to pop them in and let them bake for 20 to 22 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. I did discover that when a roll reaches a temperature of 190, even if it's not like super like golden brown on top, if you use a little thermometer in one of them when they're starting to look done and you just test the temp, when they're 190 degrees, they're good. They're like perfect. So into the oven they go. They're ready to come out of the oven. Here they are. They are so easy and so delicious. I let them go for 22 minutes and I don't know if you can see, it's very hot, so I'll try to be careful, but there's a hole in that one because I put the thermometer in there to test the temperature. These got a lot more brown. They're on the back side of my oven than these did. But so I tested one of the ones that was not quite as brown and it was 190 degrees. So I knew they were ready to come out. Let's cut into one. I usually try to let them cool down a little bit before I'm cutting into it, but I have some place I need to be. So I'm gonna go ahead and for the sake of just this video and showing you what the inside looks like, I'm gonna go ahead while they're still hot and cut into one and show you what it looks like. Okay, look at that. I've been hot and super soft. And let's get some butter on it. This is what it looks like. I wish you could smell my house right now. It's incredible. I'm gonna grab the bottom because that's the part that I really love. It's super soft. Oh my God. These are so good. And they're so easy. My family always loves when I make these, just like I always loved when my mom made them. So I hope you'll give it a try and let me know what you think. I'm Mary at home. Thanks for watching.